play at Hudson Field. They'll play at Mayo Field. And no trips to either Winona State or La Crescent or any place else. It's going to be high seed, I should say, and Rochester for this year's tournament. Molly Baum got back from his meeting. He joins me. And, Molly, it is a brisk day to say the least, 35-mile-an-hour gusts. You wouldn't know it was 59 degrees.
Boy, I tell you, it's nice to have the wind, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
We never have it. Boy, it's right at us again. So
Andy says it keeps the bugs away.
Yes, for sure. It might keep me away eventually, but hopefully it should be a good ball game. And, again, they're kind of on a winning streak here, and hopefully we can keep it up. And they got this game to win, of course, and they got a makeup game on Thursday, and then the big game is probably going to be the Dover-Yoda doubleheader on Friday.
Yeah, and it will start early on Friday at 4 o'clock. So if you're planning on attending, get here a little bit early. And we're going to have our national anthem, and then we'll get you the starting lineups in just a moment. Public address announcer Lance Boyum. And we're going to have the national anthem, and then we'll pause for that and be back and give you the starting lineups. Here it is. That was our national anthem. We want to welcome everybody tuned in on YouTube live, and of course you can watch the replay later on. It'll be available almost immediately after we're done. We're pretty much right on time for a 5 o'clock start, and I think most people, fans and everything, wouldn't mind a quick game tonight. It is really breezy, and it is Molly, we talked about it earlier. We are right on time, right at 4:59. We talked about it. The ball's going to stay in the park tonight.
Yes, this is when you like to pitch, because you can throw right down the middle and they can hit it hard and hopefully right to the outfielders.
But the challenge is on defense. Pop-ups in the infield, fly balls in the outfield can be a real challenge. Let's get you the starting lineups. First, we'll give you the defense for the Gophers, and we're going to see Sully Ferguson starting for Chatfield. Let's get you his line coming in. He's pitched 4 innings. This is his second appearance. Started a game. He's 1-0, 5.25 ERA, and a 2.5 WHIP. He's in those 4 innings given up 5 hits, 5 runs, only 3 earned, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, and opponents are hitting .263. He'll be pitching to the Gopher catcher Jack Dornick. The rest of the defense: Ryan Nosbush at first base, Jacob Erickson at second base. Erickson will be DH'd for by Drew O'Connor. Caden Boyum will be at shortstop. Cale Schott at third base. The outfield left to right. Carter Daniels in left. Jackson Shield in center. Luke Carrier in right. And the forecast said that sometime in an hour or two the wind is supposed to die down a bit, but we could be playing the entire game with the wind. The starting lineup for Lewiston Altura, they will go with center fielder Gavin Salvetti will lead off. The second baseman Caden Kiefer will hit second. Eli Jensen, the catcher, will hit third. Cole Kredermacher will DH, and he will bat fourth. He is DHing for the right fielder James Bowden. Zane Nelson, the first baseman, will hit fifth. Gavin Bamanek, the shortstop, will bat sixth. The pitcher Nolan Osley will hit seventh. The third baseman, Austin Kretemacher, will hit 8th, and Gage Bromerick, the left fielder, will hit 9th. And we are ready to go here. Sully Ferguson facing Gavin Salvetti, the Cardinals center fielder, and the first pitch is low a ball.
And the key to Sully will be control, because he's got the pitches to give the batters a hard time to hit, but he's got to put it across the plate. Just
That's
like that.
In there for a strike, 1-1 now to Salvetti. Yes, we talked about that, Molly. 4 innings of work. He does have 6 strikeouts, but 5 walks, and that's too many. That pitch misses low and away. It's 2-1. Howard Eichens is your umpire behind the plate. Greg Rathman on the bases. Just underway here from Molly Baum Field. Top of the first inning, scoreless game. That pitch is a ground ball. 1 hop to Cale Schott at third. Nice throw over to first.
Good start.
5-3 to get to Salvetti for out number 1. It's going to bring up Caden Kiefer, the second baseman. Gophers as a team, a .934 fielding percentage, which is pretty good. They have, though, been averaging close to 2 errors per game. They've had 19 errors, I think, in 10 games is what we showed. But still fielding .934. That pitch inside to Kiefer, 1 ball and no strikes.
And unfortunately, they had it in one game that cost them the game, a couple errors in 1 inning. So
that'll hurt your average.
Yeah.
1-0 to Kiefer. There's a bloop into right field. This one's curving, and right over there to make the catch is Luke Carrier, the right fielder. That ball had a little bit of a tail on it. The outfielders are going to have to be very alert. We'll score that F9 for the second out, 2 up and 2 down. It's going to bring up the Cardinal catcher, Eli Jensen.
That ball will be easy to catch. It's that real high pop-up that'll give the infielders fit.
Yeah. First pitch to Jensen, outside a ball. It always reminds me, you probably don't remember this, but I remember sitting right here, and a windy day, the wind was blowing from the west, left to right across the field. There was a pop-up, very high pop-up that everybody, we'll get to that in a minute here, inside a ball. It looked like it was going out of play over the dugout, and the wind blew it in.
Right.
It hit in foul and then rolled into fair territory, which is a fair ball, by the way, and the umpire called it a foul ball when it hit the ground. 2-0 pitch, fouled out of play, 2 balls and a strike. Well, one thing we've had, Molly, all spring is wind. We have not lacked for wind at all, really.
Boy, and it doesn't really quit. It goes all night. Usually it'd go down a little bit, but boy.
2-1 pitch, high and tight, 3-1.
Boy, you got 2 outs. You want to get that third out.
Should he reach, Cole Kretemacher, the DH, would be next. And the pitch. And that was low, and he walked him. A 2-out walk puts Jensen at first base. Well, in less than an hour, the Twins will be starting. They're in Chicago for a 3-game series, the White Sox.
Yeah, they had, 11-game losing streak and came back to win with a 3-run homer in the 9th inning.
Boy, they're already talking about a fire sale of players in Chicago. That pitch low and away. Nice job by Dornak, but the throw is going to be not in time.
Nice throw.
We got a wild pitch there.
Yeah.
I think it was hit the ground. We'll call it a wild pitch. He was not running until the ball was in the dirt, I don't believe.
It was in the dirt, so it is a wild pitch.
And it is 1 ball and no strike now to Kretemacher. Runner now in scoring position with 2 down. The pitch. Breaking ball, a good one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And the Twins, have a 3.5-game lead, I believe, in their division.
I think it's down to 3 because Cleveland won yesterday. Twins didn't play yesterday. Oh, that just about caught him. I think the Cleveland Indians came back and beat the Yankees 3-2.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And the Yankees are in last place in the American League East. Can you believe that, Molly?
Nothing could be better.
2 balls and a strike. Swing and a miss. Well, I mean, everybody's going to be behind Tampa Bay with the start that they've had.
Yeah. It's just unusual. They get, 5,000 people to watch them, and they always play good baseball.
2 balls and 2 strikes Ferguson looks at second.
Good pitch.
Breaking ball, strike 3 called, his first strikeout. So the Cardinals send 4 to the plate. They strand Jensen at second base. No runs, no hits, no Gopher errors, 1 left on. After 1/2 inning, it is Lewiston Altura nothing, Chatfield coming to bat. The Gophers will send up Carter Daniels, Luke Carrier, and Drew O'Connor in the bottom of the first. We'll be back with the rest of the Lewiston Altura lineup and the Gophers' remaining lineup right after this timeout. Welcome back, everyone. Craig Manahan with Molly Baum and cameraman Andy O'Connor. 16 pitches for Sully Ferguson in the first inning. As we said, the give you the defensive lineup for Lewiston Altura. And on the hill is going to be Nolan Osley, number 1. Eli Jensen is the catcher. At first base, Zane Nelson. Second baseman, Caden Kiefer. Shortstop is Gavin Bambanek. At third base, Austin Kredermacher. It wouldn't be a Lewiston Altura team without a Kredermacher.
Well,
and in left field, it's Gage Bromenick. Center field, Gavin Salvetti. Right field, James Bowden. Carter Daniels will lead off for the Gophers. Daniels hitting .355, 11 for 31. First pitch is a chopper out in front of the plate, and it is a foul ball. Boy, that had backspin on it. It looked like it was going to pop out fair, but it didn't.
Yeah, and Carter Daniels pitched that inning the other night, and Coach Baum said he had good speed and he felt pretty good. So maybe that's a good sign.
He's got 3 doubles on the season. Walked 4 times and has scored 11 runs, which is tied for second on the team. There's a line drive base hit. That could be extra bases. It's rolling a long way around first base is Daniel. That ball's still rolling. And it's muffed out there, and here comes the throw over the cutoff's head.
Good
right into third base, and that'll be a triple. Molly, that's kind of one of those defensive mistakes. You got to hit the cutoff man. That ball sailed over his head.
He's got good speed, so that was just a triple all the way when it hit the gap like that.
Well, there are no triples listed on the stat sheet, so that might be his first. It might not be. Luke Carrier will step in. Takes a strike. Carrier comes in hitting .417, 15 for 36. He's got 3 doubles and 10 runs batted in. An RBI opportunity here as it fouled back and out of play. Osley ahead of Carrier, no balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, up high, a ball. Well, with Daniel's speed, even a fly ball should result in a run here for the Gophers.
Anything to the right side, I think any ground ball he'll score on, except back to the pitcher, of course.
1-2 pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Drew O'Connor, the DH, is in the on-deck circle for Chatfield. Outfield playing medium deep. Outside again, that fills the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, you don't want to put runners at the corners here. I think that's how big innings get going. He'd like to... there's a ground ball base hit into left field.
Good hitting by Luke Carrier.
An RBI as Carter Daniels comes in to score, and the Gophers have a 1-0 lead. Triple and a single. Nobody out. Drew O'Connor, the DH, will step in. O'Connor's hitting .400, 12 for 30, and he's got 6 doubles. And throw over to first.
See how fast he gets down to second here.
Drew O'Connor is tied for second with 11 runs batted in. First offering from Osley to O'Connor. Inside, throw down to second. Look out, that's going into.
Go.
Oh, he hesitated.
Yes, he did.
But I think that's okay. So we've got the game's first stolen base and the first error. That'll be an error on the catcher, Jensen, allowing Carrier to get to third base. And that pitch was a ball, so an RBI opportunity here for Drew O'Connor with Luke Carrier at third base rather. There's a ground ball headed up the middle, into center field, base hit.
Boy, good start. Triple and 2 singles.
RBI for O'Connor. He's at first base. Luke Carrier comes in with the Gophers' second run, and they have a 2-0 lead. It's going to bring up Cale Schott. Schott hitting .458, 11 for 24. A couple doubles as well. The pitch, ground ball foul. Schott is tied with Drew O'Connor with 11 runs batted in, which is second on the team.
Boy, he's been a pleasant surprise. He's done a nice job of hitting for the Chatfield Gophers.
And they can play him in right field. Now today he's playing third base. If you're hearing that wind, it's because it's really blowing here. There's a ground ball up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. O'Connor, they're muffed by the center fielder. This is going to allow both runners to move up. Excuse me, that is a base hit, but that's an error on the center fielder, Gavin Salvetti, allowing both runners to move up. O'Connor is now at third base, and Schott with the single is at second base after the misplay by Galvetti in center field. Salvetti. First pitch a strike to Caden Boyum. Pardon me, Jack Dornack, the DH. He's not the DH, he's the catcher. We'll get this straight yet here. It was a called strike. So an RBI opportunity for him too. There's a ground ball toward third. It's muffed at third. The only play will be to first. Nicely dug out at first base. Great play over there by Zane Nelson. That ball could have gone to the screen. It is an RBI though. O'Connor scores. Dornack gets the run batted in. 5-3, Molly, on that play for the first out.
Nice running by Schott, who after the throw was going on, went over to third.
Pitch is low to Caden Boyum. Boyum hitting .267, 8 for 30. He's got a double. 6 runs batted in. RBI opportunity for him, too.
There it is.
Chopper off the pitcher's glove. That's going to go for an infield hit and a run batted in. Schott comes in to score the Gophers' 4th run. Still only 1 out. That would have been a tough play, but it became even tougher when the pitcher knocked it down. It's going to bring up Sully Ferguson, pitcher today for the Gophers. Ferguson hitting .385, 5 for 13. Not a lot of at-bats. Strike called.
What is our team average, batting average?
.337.
Oh, that's really hitting the ball pretty well. Should be a steal here pretty soon. No.
Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, 4 runs in. Caden Boyum, throw over to first. He's at first base. Well, what you like to see if you're a Gopher fan, Molly, crooked number in the first inning.
That's for sure. Also, if you're the pitcher.
Throw over. Boyum is back. Boyum at first base, as we said, 4 runs in, 1 out. No balls and 2 strikes to the number 7 hitter, the pitcher for the Gophers, Sully Ferguson. Good lead at first by Boyum. The pitch. Well, he checked his swing. It's going to be a stolen base. Breaking ball, good. That was a good pitch to run on, Molly.
Yes, it was.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Ferguson with the stolen base. Boyum now at second base in scoring position. Osley delivers. That one is a wild pitch, and it's going to allow Boyum to move to third base. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ferguson. Well, the Gophers have had a lot of base runners make it to third base in this first inning. Two coming to Sully Ferguson, the number 7 hitter for the Gophers. The pitch. Fly ball.
All right, here we go.
Popped up in the infield. We'll see how this is not an in. It falls. It falls in. It was missed by the shortstop, Gavin Bamanek. That wind really caught that one. It looked like it was going to be in the skin part of the infield, blew right into the infield grass.
It didn't hit the glove. Is that a hit?
That's a hit. A wind hit. Coming in, Allen is running for Ferguson. Courtesy runner.
When you get robbed of that line drive, you got to remember that hit he just got there if you're Sully.
Boyum did have to stay at third, of course. 5th hit of the inning for the Gophers. Brings up Ryan Nosbush. Fly ball down the right field line.
Well,
it's going to be a long run. It's drifting, and it goes out of play.
Did you see
The
how
wind
far
took that.
went?
Yeah, the wind took that from the line right out of play. And Molly, I don't think it's my imagination, but those lines look a lot wider down out in the outfield than normally.
I think they chalked it all the way out. It's not a painted line. They use the same one as they did in the baseline.
Nosbush lines one foul down the left field line. No balls, 2 strikes. Ryan Nosbush comes in hitting .304, 7 for 23. Nosbush with 10 runs batted in, which makes him tied for third on the Gopher squad. No balls and 2 strikes. Osley ahead of Nosbush. Still 1 out. 4 runs in, and runners at the corners here for the Gophers. The 0-2 pitch. Grounded toward third, and it's going to be
error.
Yeah, they would have had a, and the throw gets away too. Oh my, 2 errors on 1 play. E5, Molly, to allow Nosbush to reach, and then a second E5. Boyum, of course, scored. A second E5 allows Allen to get all the way to third.
Still just 1 out.
And it's going to bring up the number 9 hitter, Jackson Shield. The Gophers have batted around. Shield hitting .280, 7 for 25. First pitch is a strike. Shield has a couple runs batted in, an RBI opportunity here with Allen at third base. Ground ball towards short. They're going to go to second out there. And that'll be all they get, and it'll be a run batted in for Shield as Allen comes in to score.
And out number 2, and we start over with Carter Daniels up.
Was that 5-3, Molly, on the?
Yes. Or no, that was 6-3.
6-3 to get Shield, yeah, for the second out.
Had him leaning a little bit.
Check that, 6-4. Yeah.
Oh.
So you got the 6-4 to get Nosbush at second for the second out.
Wow.
There's a line shot off the bat of Carter Daniels. That's going to be in the gap. That's extra bases.
This is another triple.
And he's going to stop at second, but coming in to score all the way from first base is Jackson Shield. Had to correct that scoring. Jackson Shield was not out. He was a fielder's choice. It was 6-4 to get Nosbush at second. And Molly, that is the second hit of the inning, second extra base hit of the inning for Carter Daniels. And the Gophers have scored 7 runs here in the first inning and have a 7-0 lead. There are 2 outs. Batting for the second time, Luke Carrier. He singled, scored, and drove in a run back in the earlier here in the first inning.
So Carter put it in left center the first time up to bat, and then right center the second time at bat. So and well hit balls. Well, boy, what a start for the Chatfield Gophers. I think the wind's starting to let up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's down to 33 miles an hour. 7 runs in. And Molly, I have that as 6 hits for the Gophers this inning. And there's a wild pitch that's going to allow Daniels to go to third. Got to be a little frustrating for Lewiston Altura because over the years they've had some pretty good baseball teams.
Yeah. There's another right. No, it should get this.
Ground ball to short, bobbled, and he's fast,
Boy,
and he's going to be safe.
He's going to beat her out.
Does not advance. Carrier will get a run batted in as Daniels comes in to score. Going to give him a hit?
Yes. Beat the throw. He
It
juggled a little bit.
Yeah,
with his glove,
there was a juggle.
But he beat it out.
Second hit of the inning. 4th hit among the top 2 hitters of the inning for the Gophers. They've scored 8. Strike called. Drew O'Connor singled, scored, and also had an RBI earlier this inning. Osley delivers, and that one bounces. That'll even it up at 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of pitches for young Nolan Osley here in the first inning.
That's for sure.
Carrier is at first base, 2 down. Pitch is a strike, an off-speed pitch to Drew O'Connor, and it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. He is the 12th Gopher to come to the plate here in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch. Line drive, base hit up the middle. Carrier will stop at second. O'Connor at first. 6 hits among the top 3 in the Gophers lineup here in the first inning.
And there hasn't been one cheap hit either. Boy, they've really put the bat in the ball.
There's a ground ball. Big
well,
one hopper
again.
to short. They're going to go to second and get the force there.
Boy, hit the ball hard.
6-4 retires O'Connor for the 3rd out. Molly, check your book. What did Caden Boyum do there in the first inning? He scored, but
Yeah, he had a base hit.
He had a hit?
Yep.
Single?
Yes.
So I was 1 under. It really was 9 hits for the Gophers.
Wow.
They scored 8 runs, 9 hits. We'll have to tally the errors. There were at least 3.
1, 2, 3 errors.
Yeah, and there's some unearned
4
runs.
errors.
We will tally that and come back in a moment. After 1 inning, it's Chatfield 8, Lewiston Altura nothing. For the Cardinals, it'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. Zane Nelson, Gavin Bamanick, and Nolan Osley. Back in a moment.
I got a feeling that this could be a 5-inning game.
Craig Manahan with Molly Baum and Andy O'Connor. We move into the 2nd inning. 8 runs we had, 9 hits. There were 4 errors that inning, 1 left on base. We had unofficially 7 of the 8 runs earned for the Gophers. Zane Nelson, the first baseman, will lead it off here in the 2nd for Lewiston Altura. And that is in the dirt, goes all the way back to the screen.
Well, now if you're Sully, you just throw the ball in there and let our infield and outfielders do some work.
Had Ferguson with 16 pitches his first inning. Chopped foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. I'm going to have to get a calculator out to see the number of pitches here for Osley in the first inning. 30.
And a lot of them were hit in the first.
Yeah,
second
it could have been
pitch.
more, except that Chatfield was swinging the bat.
Strike 2.
By the way, there were 2 left on base, not 1, for the Gophers that first inning.
Good pitch.
Swing and a miss.
Strikeout number 2 for Sully.
1 up and 1 down here in the second. Yeah, I forgot to mark him, but Schott hit into had a fielder's choice, and Carrier and Schott were left on base in the first inning there, as O'Connor was forced at second. Fouled straight back off the bat of Gavin Bambenek, the shortstop.
5 pitches and 4 strikes. That's what you like to see when you have a 8-0 lead.
The pitch in the dirt.
This weekend, I believe, is prom, right?
It is.
So, got a lot of things going, but I hope they can keep concentrating Friday night to that big doubleheader at Dover Yoda, with Dover Yoda here.
1-1 pitch, swing and fouled back. Andy reported that Drew Schindler's baseball season is over.
Yes, that's just one of those sad things being a senior. When you lose somebody like Drew Schindler, you lose infield, you lose a hitter, you lose a pitcher. It's a tough one to. Nice pitch by Sully.
3rd strikeout.
And all we can do is say thanks for your great career. It was great watching him in all 3 sports.
Yeah, Andy thinking he might not even make it to the prom. I mean, he's really laid up for a while. Supposed to stay off of it for how long, Andy? 2 months.
So what actually, is it a ligament tear? Is that what it was? Ended up to be?
Because sprains don't require surgery. It had to be more
No, but it
serious.
was ligament. Like you say, people think a broken ankle is terrible, but a tear like that's worse and takes longer to recover from.
2 outs, nobody on here in the top of the second. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nolan Osley, the number 7 hitter, the pitcher today for the Lewiston Altura Cardinals.
Oh boy.
Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2, look out, low bridge, 2-2.
Whoa.
I think he was trying to throw a breaking ball. That one got away from him. Yeah, you'd like to have a quick inning here. Keep that pitch count down.
Oh, it's going to happen right here.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Osley, and that's in the dirt, full count. That's only the 2nd hitter I have that he's gone 3 balls to. The other one he walked. That was Jensen back in the first inning. 3-2 payoff pitch, popped up. Second baseman Eric, look at the wind blowing that ball. He's able to stay with it. F4 for the 3rd out.
Nice inning for Fergie.
No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left. We've completed 1.5. Chatfield 8. Lewiston Altura nothing for the Gophers. It'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up in the second. Dornack, Boyum, and Ferguson. We'll be back in a moment. We are back. Craig Manahan with Molly Baum and Andy O'Connor here at the ballpark. A brisk day, to say the least. Wind still blowing 25, 30 miles an hour. It is at least sunny, but that wind is coming from center field right toward home plate. The ball's going to stay in the park. In fact, we've already seen a wind effect on a couple pop-ups here, Molly.
Yes.
Jack Dornack takes ball one. He grounded out to third back in the first inning, 0 for 1. Did get a RBI on the ground out as he drove in Drew O'Connor. The pitch outside, 2-0.
You know how old this pitcher is? What grade he's in?
I don't. I don't have the roster. There's a strike. Pitch.
Ooh, hit him.
Hit the ground.
In the hand.
Well, Molly, I might have to mow the lawn tomorrow. Some of my neighbors have already been out there. It's kind of that springtime patchy type of long grass where it isn't real thick yet, but it's getting there.
I thought you wouldn't mow with no mow in May.
Yeah, I know they have
Boy, that. I thought that'd be easy way out for you.
It is for a lot of people.
And now they just came back and say, after reviewing that procedure, that is not really true. I understand what you're saying, but there's more harm not doing it.
It's not as effective as they said it was. There's still some positives about it. What I didn't like about it was, I don't mind the insects and stuff. It's the rodents and stuff. There's a ground ball to second. This could be 2. Out there, throw to first. Oh, we called him safe. That was very close at first base.
He changed it.
So 4-6 to get Dornack for the first out at second base. Fielder's choice for Boyum. Very close at first, Molly.
Sure was. You might have pulled him off.
So 1 on and 1 out. It's going to bring up Sully Ferguson, singled, and his courtesy runner scored in the first inning. Takes low and away, ball 1. Interestingly enough, that walk to Dornack was the first walk for Osley in the game. That's runner was going, he'll get the stolen base, but it was another bouncer again. Boyum goes down to second. 2 balls, no strikes to Ferguson. He, as we said, singled, and his courtesy runner Allen scored the Gophers' 6th run back in the first inning. Strike 1 called. Look at second, the pitch, fouled back, 2-2. Well, it wouldn't be Gopher baseball without my nose running up here. I tell you, that wind right in the face. Are we in allergy season yet?
Trouble is Andy's getting wet over there.
He went around.
Yeah.
That is the first strikeout for Nolan Osley. And that is 2 down. Boyum still at second base. It's going to bring up Nosbush. And he reached on an error. 0 for 1 officially. Runner going. An easy stolen base for Boyum. Osley didn't even look him back that time. Pitch was outside a ball. So an RBI opportunity for Ryan Nosbush. Osley from the stretch. Ground ball hits the facing of the Gopher dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. We said Nosbush came into the game with 10 runs batted in. Gophers, as we said, were 9-1. Their only loss to Fillmore Central. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball that's foul. Oh, it looked like it was going to be a good scoop by Brian Baum, and he dropped it. He did keep it in front of him.
That is really embarrassing for a guy that used to be there and always field the balls.
Who would that be? 1 ball, 2 strikes to Nosbush. Runner at third with 2 down. 8-0 Gopher lead here in the bottom of the second. Chop toward third. And pulled off the bag.
Boy,
and he dropped the ball, too.
Everything but the throw.
Another error charge to the Cardinals. That'll be Kretemacher, the error at third base. Unearned run, Molly, for as Boyum scored the Gophers' 9th run. E5 on the scoring. Nosbush at first base. It'll bring up Jackson Shield. Throw over to first. Look out. Jackson Shield had a fielder's choice in the first inning, but drove in a run. Allen scored, and then he scored too. Ooh, that wasn't close. But it's now no balls and 1 strike. The pitch. Well, that one hit him.
That was close enough.
That's the first hit batter by Osley. But he's definitely struggling out there, Molly. Just not fooling the Gopher hitter. Here's Carter Daniels, 2 for 2. 2 runs scored, both extra base hits, a triple and a double.
Yeah, hit both gaps. Let's see, let's go down one of the lines this time.
Fly ball,
could be
left
trouble.
field. Look at this one. That could be trouble, and it is going to drop foul. Well, when it was hit, it looked like it was straight away left field, and it ended up blowing in a bit and toward the left field foul territory, so no balls and 1 strike to Carter Daniels. Perfect day so far. Triple, double, 2 runs scored. Fly ball, right field. Well hit. Backing off is the right fielder, and this one's getting knocked down by the wind. James Bowden makes the catch. On a normal day, that might have been some trouble, but nice job staying with it by Bowden. F9 for the 3rd out. Gophers get an unearned run. And Molly, they did it without a hit. There was 1 error and a hit batter. We've completed 2. It's Chatfield 9, Lewiston Altura nothing. For the Cardinals, due up the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Austin Kretemacher, Gage Bromerick, and back to the top of the order for Galvin Selvetti. Back in a moment. We are back. Craig Manahan with Molly Baum, Andy O'Connor. That was the 1 run was unearned that inning. So the Gophers with 9 runs on 9 hits. They've had Lewiston Altura's had 5 errors, 4 left on base for Chatfield, 7 of their 9 earned. No runs, no hits, 5 errors, 1 left for the Cardinals. We move to the 3rd inning, 9-0. Gophers on top. 3rd baseman Austin Kretemacher, the number 8 hitter, will lead off here in the top of the 3rd. There's a line drive into right and staying with it there. Wasn't playing real deep.
No,
Luke Carrier. He was up pretty close, and he had him played perfectly. Score that L9 for the 1st out. Pretty reliable right fielder there in Luke Carrier.
Yes, that's for sure. It's a pretty good outfield when Carter's out in center and Luke's in right.
Ooh, boy, that hit the umpire. Howard Eichens right in the arm. It came straight through, never touched the catcher. That had to hurt, because I think that didn't get any pad. That got his elbow.
Oh, he's really in a lot of pain.
Well, you know, you watch, even in the major leagues, it's pretty amazing that doesn't happen more often, isn't it? I mean, foul balls, there's not much you can do about it, but the catchers generally do a pretty good job of protecting the umpire.
Why can't they cover that part if they wanted to? I mean, you want to flex it, of course, but you could put some type of a pad.
It does come down over the shoulder, but I think that caught him below the shoulder.
Yeah, it did. I was just thinking about Drew Schindler not going to the prom. Maybe that'd be too bad, but I'm more concerned he's supposed to pick up night crawlers for me to go to Canada.
Well,
do you think he'd be able to do that?
You can forget
he
that.
Can crawl around.
No, maybe you'd have to get him a wheelchair, because that'd be the only way, I think.
If you're listening, Drew, get out there now tonight if you can.
2 balls and no strikes. Nobody on, 1 out here in the top of the third. 9-0. Chatfield lead. Sully Ferguson on the hill. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Ferguson has walked 1, struck out 3, given up no runs. He's got a 2-ball and 1 strike count to the number 9 hitter, left fielder Gage Bromerick. The pitch just misses.
Boy, that's a good pitch.
3-1. 30 pitches through 2 innings for Sully Ferguson. Unofficially, I had Osley with 50 pitches through 2 innings for Lewiston Altura. 3-1 pitch.
Boy, Sully's been right around that plate every pitch. That's what you like to see.
Full count now to Bromerick. Nobody on base, 1 out, top of the third. Payoff pitch. Chopped at the plate, fouled off. Still 3-2. Gophers playing not real deep, pretty much straight away for Bromerick in the outfield. Here's the payoff pitch. Ground ball headed right up the middle and into center field, base hit. Good hitting. And that is the first hit, Molly, for the Cardinals. So 1 on and 1 out. It'll be back to the top of the order. Gavin Salvetti, he grounded to third back in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. Inside a ball. Well, as you said, just let them put the ball in play. Just throw strikes with a 9-0 lead. Throw over to first. Getting back is Bromerick. Ferguson from the stretch, the 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss.
There was a nice pitch right there.
Fastball on the outer half, 1 ball and 1 strike. Average lead at first, the 1-1 delivery. Foul tip right into the glove of Jack Dornick, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And that one is a wild pitch that'll allow Bromerick to go to second base. That was the 56-footer, Molly.
Yeah, it never was a strike.
That evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, in the world of, did you see that? The Boston Bruins, far and away the best team in the National Hockey League, get beat in the first series by a wild card team, and then Colorado, this number 2 seed in the West, gets beat in the first round. Swing and a miss.
Boy, nice block by the catcher.
Makes the tag.
Good block.
Strikeout number 4. Score that 2 unassisted on the putout for the second out. Bromerick still at second base. It's going to bring up Caden Kiefer, the second baseman. Flew out to right fielder Luke Carrier back in the first inning, 0 for 1. A look back at the runner at second. The pitch. High and away, ball 1.
Let's see now. Does the Wolves play tonight? Does the Wild play tonight?
You don't have to worry about that. The first round is over.
Minnesota is done. What's new? Don't worry about the runner.
Ground ball. That
That's why.
cut off by Schott at third. Nice throw to first. Made a good play. Kiefer retired 5-3 to keep the shutout going. For the Cardinals, no runs on 1 hit, their first hit. There were no Gopher errors, 1 left on base. We've completed 2.5. It's Chatfield 9 and Lewiston Altura nothing. The Gophers are going to have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. The heart of the order coming up. Carrier, O'Connor, and Schott. Back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone, to Molly Baum Field. We move into the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Gophers with a commanding lead. 9 runs, 9 hits, no errors. Gophers have left 4, 7 of their 9 unofficially earned. No runs, 1 hit, 5 errors for the Cardinals, 2 left on base. And Sully Ferguson with 45 pitches through 3 innings, right around that 15 average you like to see. And 50 pitches for... We got a new pitcher, too, for Lewiston Altura. Number 2. That's Eli Jensen. No, pardon me, that is Gavin Salvetti, who was the center fielder. So, Andy, if you can see what the changes are.
Osley's number was what? 1?
So, as I said,
Salvetti was where?
He was the center fielder. So that you can tally up, that's the final high and away to Luke Carrier, who is 2 for 2. 2 singles, 2 runs batted in, and a run scored. Also having pretty much a perfect day. There's a strike, 1-1. Was that just a switch to send Osley to center field? High and away, and it is 2 balls and a strike. And that misses, and it is 3-1. So we think Salvetti just switched positions with Osley, and he goes to center field.
Ooh.
That was tight. So the first batter is a walk for Salvetti. Leadoff man on. Gophers have had the leadoff man on all 3 innings. Drew O'Connor steps in. 2 for 2, 2 singles, an RBI, and a run scored. The DH for the Gophers today. The pitch. Oh, that was on the wrong side, but it didn't hit him. Ball 1. The pitch, look out, that was on the wrong side too, and that's going to go all the way back to the screen. Wild pitch allows Carrier to go to second. Here comes Corey Schmitz. Try to settle him down here. You know, Molly, it's really tough at the high school level if your pitching staff has control issues, because with walks and then throw in a few errors, a game can get out of control real fast.
No doubt, and say nothing about when you're 9-0, you're sitting out in the outfield, or it's cold and windy. Let's get it over with. But the thing that you'll worry about the Gophers, and so far I don't think I've seen it. Sometimes you get 8 runs, you just kind of slack off a little bit, but boy, we're up there swinging the bats, and that's what you like to see. And we especially like to see at least one more run.
Well, you got to play hard, no coasting, right? Just play hard the whole game.
Yep.
Drew O'Connor, 2 balls and no strikes. Salvetti delivers, popped out of play, two balls and a strike. Well, I would say 9 runs on 9 hits is a pretty good first 2 innings, wouldn't you, Molly?
Yeah. The only thing I can say about him is he didn't walk anybody.
Long look by Salvetti. 2 balls and a strike to O'Connor. From the stretch, delivers. And that goes back to the screen. Another wild pitch will allow Carrier to go to third. I don't believe we've had a game where I've seen as many base runners on third base as we've had in this game. RBI opportunity for O'Connor, 3-1 if he gets a pitch to hit here.
And he'll go after it if he does.
The stretch, the pitch, swing and a miss. Good pitch, good location.
Yeah.
Low and away on that one. That fills the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Went upstairs on him. First strikeout for Salvetti. That's the second strikeout for Cardinal pitching. So with Carrier at third, 1 out, and Cale Schott will step in. He is 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the first inning. Reached on a fielder's choice to end that first inning. So he's already his 3rd trip to the plate here in the 3rd inning. Fouled back. So far, Corey Schmidt's trip to the mound looks brilliant.
That's for sure. He's got a little different wind-up, too. And
there goes my
your
papers. You can't let your papers loose. They will fly a long ways away. The 0-1 now to Schott. That pitch is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, we want to remind everybody, make-up game Thursday. GMLOK will be here. I believe that's a 4:30 start rather than a 5 o'clock, according to the schedule. Then a doubleheader starting at 4 against Dover Iota. Fly ball right field. This should score a run. Long run, and it's going to drop in for a base hit.
Boy, he kind of gave up on it.
Yeah, he did. I thought he was going to get there. That was James Bowden, the right fielder out there. So Carrier scores. Schott gets an RBI and a single. That's the Gophers' 10th hit of the game. Carrier scores the magic 10th run, Molly.
Yes.
Jack Dornack, who is 0 for 1, swings and misses. Throw down to first. Getting back is Cale Schott. One on, 1 out, 1 run in. 10-0 now. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Dornack on his ground out back in the first inning did get an RBI. Drove in Drew O'Connor. And he walked. I said 0 for 2. He's actually 0 for 1. But he is behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Salvetti delivered. Look out. Low bridge, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice eye.
1-2 pitch, well, same place. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Lined foul over beyond the tennis courts, still 2-2.
It's still amazing to me how green the grass is and the trees are budding out. I don't know how they can with
in this weather. That is low and away. That will go all the way back to the screen. I think a wild pitch on that one. Shot goes down to second, and that fills the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Dornack. Well, I think, Molly, they were fooled. I think the buds, and they were that 3 days when it was 78 or over 80, they got
80,
fooled.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The pitch.
Ooh.
Strike 3 called. Second strikeout for Salvetti, third for Cardinal pitching. 2 outs. It's going to bring up Caden Boyum. He is 1 for 2. Singled in a run and scored in the first inning. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored an unearned run in the second. There's a nice breaking ball for a strike. Look at second, the pitch all the way back to the screen. In the air, I think, on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I think a couple games we had hardly any wild pitches, but we sure seen them today.
Must be 5, 6 of them already.
Two down. Fouled right. Oh, there's right at Andy O'Connor, right off the plexiglass, and thankfully it did not crack. It stayed right in there.
Did it leave a mark?
I didn't.
Big
I don't.
see.
There's some blemishes on it but I don't know if that was. Gee, the wind, and then the wind comes in and blows everything away again.
Whoa.
Check swing. Runner at third. Shot will stay put, and that is 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Boyum. 2 outs. Shot at third base. 10-0 Gopher lead. 1 run in here in the bottom of the third. Gavin Salvetti in relief of Osley, and that pitch is high. Fills the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And low and away, that one was in the dirt as well. So Boyum will get a walk. That'll put runners at the corners, first and third with 2 down. It'll bring up Sully Ferguson. 1 for 2. Singled. His courtesy runner scored in the first inning, struck out swinging in the second. Well, we've been playing a long time. I know it doesn't seem like it's only the bottom of the third, but it is. Salvetti delivers inside, ball 1. The 1-0 to Ferguson. That's in there for a strike. 1-1.
He's got some speed if he can just control it. He has a little trouble doing that.
1-1 pitch. Look out. Looks like he's trying to throw some sort of breaking ball or off-speed pitch and just sails away on him.
I don't think I'd use that sign anymore. But
2-1 pitch. Swing, fouled back, evens it up at 2-2.
And he comes back with a pretty good pitch right there in the inside corner.
Ten runs on 10 hits for the Gophers in this game. That ball bounces out in front. Another full count. Well, he's faced, this is the 5th batter, and 4 of the 5 he's had 3 balls on in this inning. Here comes the payoff pitch to Ferguson. Fly ball, well hit left field. See what happens with this
made
one.
A good turn.
Yeah, the ball really gets knocked down up in the air today. Score that F7 Nice catch made out in left field by Gage Romernick. F7 for the third out. Gophers get a run. They do it on one hit. No errors, but we had 3 wild pitches in that inning. Gophers leave 2. They've now left 6 on base, and that run is earned. We've completed 3 innings. We're going to go to the 4th. Chatfield 10, Lewiston Altura nothing. For the Cardinals, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters are due up. Jensen, Kretemacher, and Nelson. Back in a moment. We are back at Mollybaum Field. We moved to the 4th inning, 10-0. Chatfield on top. I had 32 pitches for Salvetti that inning. 82 through 3 innings for Cardinal pitching. 10 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Gophers. 6 left on base, 8 of the 10 earned unofficially. No runs, 1 hit, 5 errors for the Cardinals, 2 left on base. As we move to the top of the 4th inning, it'll be Eli Jensen. No official at-bats. He walked back in the 1st inning. In there for a strike. Well, Molly, we just look at that book, and through 3 innings, the Cardinals have had just 2 base runners, and they were both stranded at second base.
Right, and had just 1 walk. That's what you like to see.
There's a off-speed pitch, and it's no balls and 2 strikes as it's fouled back to the screen. Oh-2 pitch. Up and over the
nice cut.
Backstop. Still 0-2. Yeah, just reading some of the junk online after Boston lost that series, the Bruins. The conspiracy theorists are out. You know, it's all rigged and everything. They were saying the same thing about the NBA, of course, too. But popped up.
Uh-oh, this will be fun. There he comes.
Long run coming in, still coming in is Boyum, the shortstop. That ended up being right behind the pitching mound. Oh, I'm sorry. Carter Schlink is at shortstop. We've had a substitute there. We've probably got some others too, right? Volts is at first. So score that F6, first pitch to Kretemacher, a strike. He was called out on strikes back in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. Fouled back, 0-2. Bases are empty. 1 out, no balls, 2 strikes to Kretemacher with Zane Nelson to follow. 10-0 Gopher lead here in the top of the 4th inning. Ferguson, we said, 45 pitches through 3 innings.
Tried to overthrow that one a little bit, but it's all right. 1-2, now you get him.
Pretty good shape on the pitch count. In fact, if the game should only go 5 innings, he should be in great shape on pitches. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cole Kretemacher. Ferguson delivers. A 55-footer, and it's 2-2. From the windup, Ferguson delivers 2-2. Ground ball softly hit towards third. It's going to be a tough play. Oh, foul
tough.
ball. Bounced off his leg, apparently.
Yep.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, that last series the Twins had with Kansas City, they had Jerry Lane's umpiring crew, and I'll tell you, they had a rough time with balls and strikes. It was,
There's still there were some balls, but when they're an eighth of an inch out of the strike zone, that should be a strike. So,
yeah, well, I'm not talking about those. There were some of them that were very low, and they were just, they were just having a rough time of it. But and he's 64 years old. Maybe it's time to retire. Payoff pitch. Ground ball sharply hit toward Schlink at short. Knocks it down. Makes the throw. Not going to be in time. That will be an error. First error of the game for the Gophers. It was hard hit, but it was right at him.
Was he the umpire that got hit with that foul ball too?
Yes, he was.
Boy,
he's the crew chief. He's the crew chief. He's been around a long time.
That really nailed him.
One on and one out. It'll bring up Zane Nelson. Struck out swinging, leading off the second inning. 0 for 1. Good lead at first.
Boy, that's for sure.
Pitch, swing and a miss.
Good pitch.
Got out ahead of that, and it was on the outside edge. No balls, 1 strike. Ferguson with 4 strikeouts. He's given up just the 1 hit.
Boy,
One walk
over there. Let him know you're thinking about him. Same pitch.
Throw down to first by Dornak to Volts. Carson Volts, we mentioned, is at first base, replaced Nosbush. No balls and 2 strikes to Nelson. Kretemacher takes his lead at first. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. 0-2 pitch.
Good pitch. That's your good morning, good afternoon, good night.
And he went up in the zone on that one. That was what you'd call a letter high strike.
Sure was.
And it is strikeout number 5.
Number 5.
Second out. 3-pitch strikeout. It'll bring up Gavin Bambanek, who struck out swinging in the second inning, 0 for 1. Fouled back. No balls and a strike.
I'd like to see him throw over to first, just to see if it is too big a lead.
Well, a lot there would depend on his move toward first too. If you take the time to step off, you'll never get him.
Well, you don't do that. Yeah. He is going.
Whoa! Whoa! That throw almost took Sully Ferguson's head off.
Oh, that's for sure.
That is, well, you saw what happened. Dornak tried to throw it from one knee, and he just didn't get anything on it. It'll be a stolen base for Kretemacher.
Strike 2.
No balls and 2 strikes to Bambanek.
Boy, that was right off his back.
Well, Ferguson needs to work on the hitter here, Molly, to get out of this inning. No balls and 2 strikes. Kretemacher at second base. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. The pitch, line drive center field, and
Just
right there to make the play is the center fielder. I think, is that still Jackson Shield? Makes the catch. Took a step in, then backed off a little bit. Balls are not really flying too far out in the outfield. Score that L8 for out number 3. For the Cardinals in the 4th, no runs, no hits, 1 Gopher error, 1 left on base. After 3 1/2, it's Chatfield 10, Lewiston Altura nothing. Gophers, let's see, it'll be Volts, who's batting in Nosbush's spot. He'll be leading off, followed by Jackson Shield and Carter Daniels. That's who's due up for the Gophers in the bottom of the 4th. We'll be back after this timeout. Welcome back, everyone. We have some defensive changes for the Cardinals. Nolan Osley, who was the starting pitcher, is now in left field. Silvetti, who was pitching, is now back in center field. And Austin Kredemacher, who was the third baseman, is pitching.
Number 23 is at third.
Yeah, Gage Bromernick, number 23, who started the game in left field, is now playing third base.
Well, even though it's going to be a short game, all the hitters that are going to bat the whole game, they'll get their four at bats. That's pretty good.
Carson Volz will lead off first trip to the plate, starting the Gopher half of the fourth inning here. Ooh, uppercut swing at a pitch up in the zone. No balls, one strike. The 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. First inning of work for Austin Kredemacher. One delivery. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looks like he's got some pretty good zip on that ball. Well, I said the Gophers with 10 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. 6 left on, 8 of their 10 earned. No runs, 1 hit, 5 errors, 3 left for the Cardinals. The 1-2 pitch outside evens it up at 2-2. We may have a pinch hitter on deck here, Andy. Doesn't look like that pitch is low. 3-2. That doesn't look like
Number
Shield.
15? Number 15? I saw a 5.
Armstrong is number 15.
Ooh.
Oh! Well, that is strikeout number 4 for Cardinal pitching. First for Kredemacher. Would you say that was borderline, Molly?
No.
No. It's going to bring up Armstrong. Alec Armstrong batting in the 9 spot for Jackson Shield. 1 out, nobody on here for the Gophers in their 4th. Fouled back.
Number 13 on deck as a pinch hitter.
And that is Connor McGill. A 1 pitch, swing and a miss. Behind that one, no balls, 2 strikes. Well, if I'm Kredemacher, I'm just throwing fastballs here.
Yeah.
Ground ball, 1 hop right back to Kredemacher. Runs it over, the underhand toss. Armstrong retired 1-3 for the second out.
2 up, 2 down. That's a little unusual.
Well, this is the first inning the Gophers haven't had the leadoff man on in 4 innings.
Number 1 is
Connor McGill steps in. That's Cole Johnson in the on-deck circle. He'll need to get a Armstrong, or McGill rather, on base to get a chance here. 2 down, base is empty. And that's in the dirt, 2-0. Oh, it hit him, and Johnson will get to bat. And Molly, this is Cole Johnson's first at bat of the season coming up.
Oh. Really?
So that's an opportunity for him. He has not batted yet. He's been used as a courtesy runner a few times. McGill takes a lead at first base. Pitch in there for a strike. He's batting in the 2 spot, Luke Carrier's spot. Luke Carrier was 2 for 2 2 runs scored, 1 driven in, had a walk as well as the 2 hits. The pitch, swing and a miss, no balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch, way outside, 1-2. Well, looking ahead to the Cardinals' 5th inning, it's the 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up. Osley, Kretemacher, and Bromerick. The 1-2 delivery to Cole Johnson goes all the way back to the screen. That, I think, hit his glove. That looked like a pass ball. And we'll call it a pass ball. Off the glove of Eli Jensen, the catcher. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Cole Johnson. From the stretch, Kretemacher delivers. Swing and a miss. He got him.
Good outing for Kretemacher.
Yeah, his 2nd strikeout, 5th for Cardinal pitching. For the Gophers, no runs, no hits. There were no errors. 1 left on the hit batter. We've completed 4 4.5. Is that right?
Yep, we got last inning right here.
We're going to the
5th inning.
Top of the 5th inning. If the Gophers can avoid giving up any runs, it'll end in 5. And we said it'll be Osley, Kretemacher, and Bromerick due up. Back in a moment.
Pitches.
We're back. 62 pitches, and for Sully Ferguson, who's being relieved now by Carter Daniels. Molly, you got the line on Sully Ferguson.
Yeah, he's going to be the winning pitcher if the score stays like it is. He pitched 4 innings, 1 hit, no runs, walked 1, and that's what you'd like to see, and struck out 5. So just a total overall good game for Sully Ferguson.
We've got another change. In addition to Carter Daniels coming in, Nathan Allen is the catcher now for Daniels behind the plate. And Braden Horseman is in left field.
And we're just trying to get Carter Daniels ready to pitch.
Ground ball softly hit towards second. Scooped up. Yeah. Play is made by that Jacob Erickson at second base. Flips it over to Volts.
1 pitch, 1 out.
4-3 on the scoring. While we have time, just going to Carter Daniels has pitched just 2 1/3 innings. There's a strike. He's 1 win, no losses. Got an ERA of 6, it says here, and 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. He hit 1 batter. High and tight, 1 ball, 1 strike to Austin Kretemacher.
Yeah, you just hope he can come back, because he would have been probably our #1 pitcher this year.
Fouled back.
And hopefully he can come back, and especially at tournament time. We still got a couple weeks to go.
It's going fast, though.
Yes, that's for sure. And the warmer it gets, the better it'll be.
From the windup, here's the 1-2 pitch to Kretemacher. Fouled back, still 1-2. Bases are empty, 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Gophers a couple outs away from a 10-run victory, leading 10-0 here in the top of the 5th. Looking also for their 10th win of the season. Came in 9-1. Here's the 1-2 to Kretemacher.
Good.
Oh, off speed, goes back to the screen. Can he make the throw?
Nice
Yes.
play.
Goes from Allen to Volts. First strikeout for Daniels, 6th for Gopher pitching. Score that 2-3 for the putout. 2 up, 2 down. It'll bring up Gage Bromerick, who was the left fielder. He's playing third base now, swing and a miss.
Boy, now that had some speed on her. That's what you like to see. That's what you look at with Daniels.
I don't know if you
He's got
mentioned it,
some
but just
velocity.
62 pitches, Molly, for Ferguson in 4
Right.
innings. Right around that 15 average. The 0-1 pitch, missing, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good miss.
Cardinals have managed just 1 hit. There's
Boy,
a
good
strike.
location.
1 strike away are the Gophers from their 10th victory. Cardinals down to their last strike. Their base runners reached on an error, 1 walk, and 1 hit. The 1-2 pitch. Strike
Got
3
him.
called.
Good outing for Carter.
2 strikeouts for Carter Daniels, 7 for Gopher pitching. Daniels sets the Cardinals down in order in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. A good outing for the Chatfield Gophers as they defeat the Lewiston Altura Cardinals 10-0 in 5 innings. We'll take a break and be back and wrap things up on the postgame. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. Craig Manahan with Molly Baum here at Molly Baum Field. A decisive 10-0 win for the Chatfield Gophers. And good pitching combined with 10 hits gave the Gophers the big victory. Molly will go through the pitching, but Sully Ferguson just 62 pitches and 1 hit, and then Carter Daniels in relief, really shutting them down. Let's
Pretty much says it all right there.
that pretty much does it. Unofficially, we had Lewiston Altura with no runs, 1 hit. They committed 5 errors in the game. They did settle down later in the game. Defense tightened up a little bit. They left 3 on base. We mentioned that during the broadcast. They had 1 walk, 1 hit, and 1 batter. Kretemacher reached on an error. That was it for base runners for Lewiston Altura. So no runs, 1 hit. As we said, 5 errors, 3 left on base, and, of course, no earned runs. For the Chatfield Gophers, I had them unofficially with 10 runs on 10 hits. Gophers committed 1 error. They left 7 on base. Unofficially, I had 8 of the 10 runs as earned. And it turned out in 4 innings, I had 99 pitches thrown by Lewiston Altura pitchers, and they used 3. Started out with Osley and ended up with Salvetti pitched the 3rd, and then Kretemacher finished up the 4th. And Molly, before I go into the individual stats, why don't you get us the pitching?
Not much to say except for for Lewiston Altura. The pitchers, the first pitcher struggled, and when you get down 8-0, it's pretty tough to come back. And he just didn't have it, and he lasted 2 innings and took the loss. For Chatfield, it was nice to see Sully. This basically was his second game of starting, and he did a nice job. And when I say a nice job, means that he threw strikes. I think he walked one, and he was ahead of the hitters the whole way, and you like to see that. And just a nice overall game for Fergie. He pitched 4 innings and gave up 1 hit. No runs, of course, walked 1 and struck out 5. And then Daniels, you just keep holding your breath, hoping that he can come in and towards the end of the season now be able to pick up some pitching slack that we maybe will have to need at tournament time. And he just struck out 2 and a ground ball to the second baseman and the other hitter. So it was nice to see. Just a good victory for the Chatfield Gophers, and they got 3 more this week.
And just to add that Carter Daniels threw just 10 pitches in that 5th inning, and as we said, got 2 strikeouts. Individually, the only hit for the Cardinals was in the number 9 spot. Gage Bromrick had a single in the 3rd inning. That was it for hitting. And most of in fact, all of the Cardinals through the 5 innings, nobody batted more than twice. So it was pretty much, not a lot of offense being generated by Lewiston Altura. Just 2 at-bats for each of the 9 players, so that's 18 at bats. It's going to be tough to win with that.
That's for sure.
For the Chatfield Gophers, well, they had that big 1st inning. They got 8 runs on 9 hits in the 1st inning, and really put the game away right then. Carter Daniels on the day, he ended up 2 for 3, a triple, a double, 2 runs scored, and then he was replaced. McGill batted for him in the 4th inning, was hit by a pitch. Luke Carrier, also another good day. 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in. Molly, 2 for 2 with a walk on base each time. Drew O'Connor, 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI and a run scored. Cale Schott, he had 2 for 3 as well, couple singles, run scored and a run batted in. Jack Dornack, 0 for 2 officially, did walk and did on a ground out drive in a run. Caden Boyum was 1 for 2. Couple runs scored and a run batted in. Sully Ferguson was 1 for 3, and his single in the 1st inning, his courtesy runner scored a run. Ryan Nosbush was 0 for 2, got on base twice by error. And then Jackson Shield, he was 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch. He got a fielder's choice and drove in a run in the 1st inning. In the last inning there, Gophers had some pinch hitters. We saw Armstrong batted. He was 0 for 1. McGill is the one that got hit by a pitch, and then so he was 0 for 0. Cole Johnson 0 for 1, and who was the first batter there that batted for Nosbush? Volts was called out on strikes, so he was 0 for 1. Overall, as we said, 99 pitches thrown in 4 innings by Cardinal pitching. That's a lot of pitches.
And when your first 4 batters are up total 11 times to get 8 hits. That's a pretty good start when you have the top 4 hitters get that many hits. So good job, and we made good contact. And again, what did we say? We only struck out like 3 times again, and that's what you like to see.
Yeah, I think it was 4.
4 times.
4 strikeouts because 2 were in the last inning with
right.
pinch hitters. But that's about going to do us. Want to remind you, coming up on CCTV Thursday, that makeup game starting at 4:30. It'll be on YouTube, as all of our home games are, and that'll be Grand Meadow, Leroy Ostrander, Kingsland here, a game that was postponed from earlier in the season. And then the big one, a doubleheader. By the way, GMLOK 4:30 start on Thursday. What's that? Oh, and there'll be a JV game as well. And then on Friday, a big doubleheader, Molly. The Dover Iota Eagles, longtime rival of the Gophers, just 2 losses this season. They're going to start at 4 o'clock, a doubleheader, and that'll come down to, as it often does, pitching. And from what I'm told, Dover Iota's got a couple good pitchers.
Yes, it should be just we'll have O'Connor and Carrier ready to go, so it should be just a matchup, and that's what you like to see head-to-head, and we'll see who's got the better team that day.
So if you can't be here, tune in to CCTV coverage of Gopher baseball on YouTube. So that's about going to do it from the ballpark here for Andy O'Connor and camera And Molly Baum, my broadcast partner, this is Craig Manahan saying thanks for being with us. Once again, our final score in 5 innings, Chatfield 10, Lewiston Altura nothing. We'll see you next time right here on CCTV. Until then, good night, everyone, from Molly Baum Field in Chatfield, Minnesota.
Good night.